now tuned into The Truth with G. Inspire, educate, and uplift. If you can't handle the truth, this ain't the show for you. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So sit back, relax, and buckle up and enjoy this ride.
The Truth with G. The Truth with G. The Truth with G. All right. Welcome back to the show. You're listening to The Truth with G on WPMM Internet Radio. I am your boy, Jill Graham. You know me as G. Once again, we are back to talk about the issues that matter to you and your community. Hope all is doing well. It is Monday, I think the 16th day of October, start of the week. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you had a safe weekend. Hope that you were responsible in all of your endeavors. And as I tell you always, hope that you call that tow truck or that Uber driver, because it's much cheaper to do that than to go out there and get a DUI. I promise you it is. So I hope you guys were responsible and did what you're supposed to do over the weekend. And we are back on the grind. Want to thank you for tuning in. Once again, we are here every Monday and Thursday, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on WPMM Internet Radio. I want to thank my listening audience for tuning in. Thank my ride or dies to ride with me every single night. And also my part-time and my first-time listeners. I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. So, got a great show lined up for you tonight. We'll be talking with a special guest, and I'll be introducing her in just a moment here. But we are WPMM Internet Radio. We are under Changing Horizon Media Group, LLC, where we play more music. We play the best in neo soul, talk, independent hip hop, and old school music. You can listen from the website at WPMMradio.com. You can go to TuneIn, iTunes. Also, you can tell Alexa to play WPMM. She will oblige as well. Okay, you can go to the Google Play Store or the Apple Store and download the app. It is a free app. You can download and listen to the show. Also, if you have someone who may not be tech savvy, just text them, WPMMradio.com. All they have to do is click on it, hit play, and they can listen to the show as well. We're also live on Facebook. Mr. J Dizzle, if you're out there listening, go ahead and hook me up with WPMM as well. I don't want to screw it up. I'm engineering myself over here, so make sure you put me on WPMM page as well. So, but the views and opinions expressed by individual radio hosts and guests are of their own. It does not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of WPMM Radio. WPMM does not intend to align with any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything. All right, now that we got all the particulars out the way, on today's show, as advertised, I have a special guest coming on with me today, and got wind of her story over the weekend. Let me back up just a second here. I'd be remiss if I did not remind you guys of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It is the month of October, the full month of October. We're trying to bring awareness to breast cancer. Make sure that you are doing your self-examinations. Early detection is the key. Do your self-examinations, and if you don't want to do it, I'm sure you got a significant other that don't mind doing it for you. But if you feel something, make sure that you get it checked out. Do not go undetected, because again, it's a life or death situation. So make sure that you are supporting breast cancer. I think Pensacola has a breast cancer walk coming up at the end, the last weekend of the month, if I'm not mistaken. I'll get that information for you and put it out there. I usually partake every single year, because you guys know my situation. As you guys know, that my wife is a breast cancer survivor, almost 13 years that she was diagnosed, and we are cancer free. So I definitely support the breast cancer efforts to find a cure. So, but on today's show, make sure you go ahead and share. On today's show, I have a special guest, and let's go ahead and let's get her in here, and I'm going to get her introduced. Let's get her in here first. All right. We have today on the show, I have Miss Penny White. If you wonder who Miss Penny White is, you should know who Miss Penny White is by now. She was featured on WAR over the weekend in regards to an issue that she is having with a youth sports organization over in Pace, Florida. And I reached out to her to come and talk to us on the show because one reason I reached out to her is because I listened to the report that WAR did. And although I appreciate what they did not give her ample time to give us the whole story as to what is going on. You know, the sound bite's okay, but it doesn't tell the whole story. So I wanted her to come on the show and give the whole story and tell everything. So she obliged, and I am thankful that she did come on the show today. So I have with me Miss Penny White. Good evening, Miss Penny. How you doing tonight?
Good evening. I'm fine. How you doing?
Again, I am above the grass. I'm blessed. You know, another day I wake up on this side of on this side of the world, so I can't complain. And I want to thank you so much again. You know, we had a brief conversation before we came on the air, but I want to thank you again for coming on the show and you know, and responding to when I reached out to you. I really do appreciate that.
Thank
And
you.
because this is such a important topic. We do have people that's chiming in on Facebook, so I may read some of their comments.
Mhm.
You know, I do welcome the comments as well. If you're on Facebook, go ahead and drop the comments into the comment section. We are not taking phone calls today, however. So if you do want to comment, you can drop your comment on the into the comment section on Facebook. It looks like we have Miss Sonia Renee on Facebook. Mr. John Adams, good evening, sir. How you doing? Um, Miss Sonia Renee, I see your comment, and I I'll address that here shortly. Mr. Larry Pugh has joined us as well. Good evening, everybody. Once again, I have Miss Penny White uh, on, and she was featured on WAR, where her child, her 8-year-old son, was removed from his football team uh, behind some controversy that Miss White and had brought to their attention, if you will. So, but first, before we get into that, Miss White, I'm assuming you live in the Pace area. Is that correct?
Yes, I live in Pace.
And how long have you been out in Pace?
We moved here, I believe, in 2015. We moved here. So
And I understand that you are also a military veteran as well.
yes,
And
yes.
that
I was,
was
go
it
ahead.
Navy?
Yes, I was in the Navy for 28 years.
28 years serving this country, and people still pissing us off. I don't understand. But anyway, by the way, Miss Penny, if I use a word or two, just excuse me because you know God ain't through with me yet, and and every sometime I may use a word that may not be used in in the church pews, but you know, just excuse me. I'm gonna try to refrain. I'm gonna try to be good today.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to be good, but if I let one slip, I apologize in advance.
Well, let me
So
apologize in advance also, just in
okay,
case.
all right, I got you. So 28 years in the Navy. 2017, you've been in the Pace area. And are you from the Pensacola area?
No, I'm
Or from
originally
Pensacola?
no, I'm originally from Texas.
Okay. So, and I'm assuming your military brought you to this part of the country.
Yes.
And just let you, I'm born and raised Pensacola, so I kind of am aware of Pace, you know, Milton, Chumuckla, Jay, all that area up there, and the foolery that we could deal with some of the people up there. You know, got some good people up there, but we
Mhm.
got some ignorant people up there as well. You know, but got some ignorant folks in Pensacola. But on this show, just to let you know, on this show, the name of the show is The Truth with G. I am very blunt. I
Mhm.
don't pull punches, but anything that I say is factual. I don't deal in
Exactly.
gossip. I don't deal in mess, whatever the
Mhm.
case may be. We put the truth out there, and that's how we do it on this show. So so your son was on the team at the Pace Athletic and Recreation Association. Was this his first year playing there?
No, this is actually his. I believe it would be it would have been his fourth year playing with Pace.
Okay, so he started when he was 4 or 5 years old.
He started when he was like 5, getting ready to turn 6, because he started during the COVID, like that year that we had COVID. So they let him start playing then. So he's actually 9. He just turned 9 in September.
Oh,
So
okay, okay.
yeah,
So he's currently playing with the 9U, I'm assuming.
he was with the
Oh, he
8U
was
because he
8U. He was an
turns,
8U
yes.
because of the date. That's
Hmm.
right. So, and I was reading some of your. It's not your bio, but I was reading some of the information on your Facebook page, and you also have an older son that played football as well.
Yes, he played with Para. He's now playing with the University of Illinois.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. So, and what year is he there?
He's actually in his 3rd year, but he redshirted his freshman year, so they have him listed as a sophomore. But he's actually in his 3rd year there. He actually
Wow,
played with He played with Witherspoon. So
oh, okay. So actually, we my son would have played your son at some point. He's in his 2nd year of college. He's at University of North Alabama.
okay.
He plays up there. So we would have played you guys at some
Hmm.
point there. Yeah, but yeah, that's my. I stopped coaching when I got out of the when my son went to high school.
Hmm.
That's when I stopped coaching. I did 25, 26 years, and it was time for me to sit down and watch him develop. Uh,
Hmm.
through his high school years. So yeah. So you were familiar with Pace Park and the I don't know if they got a new coaching staff this year or new coaches or what have you. Normally it kind of changes every year with the coaches. So are these the same coaches that you dealt with from the previous year?
They pretty much I would say for the last 2 years, I've dealt with the same coaches because the coaches move up with their children. So the
Right.
COVID year
Okay.
was different, that they just had one coach and just kind of combined teams because all the kids didn't play. But then as of that, for the last couple of years, he's been pretty much with the same coaches.
Okay. And as a coach, when I was coaching, I always made sure that the coaches that I coached with, I didn't. It didn't matter if I was a head coach, if I was assistant coach, it didn't matter. I always made sure that those kids were treated fairly and treated right.
Hmm.
I did
Hmm.
not tolerate uh, coaches using foul language toward the kids. Um,
Hmm.
we didn't cuss at the kids, and you definitely didn't put your hand on these kids. And if you wasn't about the children, then you did not need to be on the field
Exactly.
because it was about the kids. I'm one of those coaches. I didn't care about what the score said at the end of the game. My goal was to teach these kids the game of football, uh, make sure they had fun while they were doing it, and that they put out 100% effort and gave an effort. Whatever the score was at the end of the day, if you gave me 100%, I'm proud of you. If you didn't give me 100%, I'm still proud of you, but I'm gonna push you to give me that 100% because that's how life is. So that's how I
Hmm.
approach the game, if you will. And like I say, 26 years, 25, but I lose count. I lose count, but I did 25 or 26 years, somewhere in there, coaching little league sports. So, um, so once you give us a little background, like I said, I read the little background that you gave on your Facebook post, but
Hmm.
give us a little background of how the year started there and what led us to this moment.
Well, the year was, I mean, we started out fine and everything, when we first started doing our conditioning. And I basically did the same thing that I did last year, which was basically did the job of a teen mom. I, I ordered the socks that we had that had the pace on the back of them, and I designed them and everything. I ordered the parents'
Mhm.
jerseys. I did the snack list, the drink list. I did all of that. And then all of a sudden, the coach's wife said, well, she's the team mom. And, I just told her, hey, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. You can take it over and, do whatever. And it was kind of like, well, I'm doing cheerleading, I'm doing this, so you can help me out. So I was like, okay, fine. So we get to the jamboree, and that's when everything seemed to change because my son, well, he's actually my grandson, but I raise him, so I call him my son sometimes. But he and another little boy had an altercation where the little boy attacked him. So she got mad, sent the kids to the parents. And so I'm sitting there. I mean, it was like we were at Bellevue, and it's like 130 degrees out there. So I got my big umbrella. So I'm sitting down talking to him, and I'm asking him, what happened and everything. So she comes, lifts my umbrella up, and just start going in on him. And I told her, I said, you need to stop because I'm talking to him. And if you send a child to their parent, you let the parent handle it. You don't come back in and try to take over. And so she was just, oh, I'm not doing this with you. And I'm like, why are you getting loud? Can you please calm down? I'm talking to my child. Next thing I know, she stands up and says, I mean, I hate to curse, but fuck that, in front of everybody, the kids, parents, everything. And I just turned around and I'm looking at parents. I'm like, do y'all hear this? Did I get loud? They said no. I said, did I curse her? They said no. So I'm upset at this point. So the coaches take the kids. It happened to be one of the coaches was sitting right behind me and didn't say anything. So next thing I know, here comes the VP of football, and he comes in hot and heavy. Oh, I heard your kid and this other kid are the two worst kids on the team. And I'm just like, who are you to talk about kids like that? And no, they're not. And he was just basically coming in like, Captain, let me save her. Because she was looking at him like, you're my friend, so you're going to listen to me and you're going to go against her. And it was just like an attack from both of them. And I'm just like trying to keep it together, like, Lord, please don't let me, my alter ego, Shaniqua, come out. And then I got to really act a fool out here. I'm just trying to be like, okay, is this really happening? And my friends are coming over saying, okay, just be calm. And we're just going, she and I are going back and forth. And next thing you know, she's cussing out other parents behind me saying, y'all stay out of it. And I'm tired of your shit and her shit. And I mean, just cursing. And he's still coming at me. And I'm just like, this isn't right. So they walk off. I'm mad, about to leave. Jay comes over and he's like, hey, do you want me to play? I'm like, sure, go ahead and play. But I'm just like, live it. I'm like, it's hot and I'm getting even hotter out here because I'm ready to just like go off. And I told her, and I said, you're lucky that I'm not the woman I used to be, because if I was, I would be dragging you right now. And she steps back and said, do it. So I folded up my umbrella, sat it down, and I stood up. And that's when everybody was like, oh, no, we're not going to do this or whatever. Because I'm like, well, you're not going to just come at me and disrespect me like that. You're just not. Right. So she went her way, he went his way, and I saw him walking by. And so I asked him, I was like, what was that? Why were y'all attacking me? And come to find out, he says, oh, it really wasn't your child. It was the other child. And I'm just like, so nobody was going to say anything to me. Y'all were just going to let this slide. Her cussing and everything, it was just going to slide. So he left and did whatever. And I talked to her afterwards. And I'm like, what was that? And she tried to give me this little sideway hug and say, oh, because it was hot. And she had a lot going on. That's why she went off. And I'm just like, okay. And I just walked off. So talk to the president a few days after that. And I just felt like, they owe me an apology, because that was flat out wrong for her to try to do everything that she did. And it was just flat out wrong. So we had a meeting up at the top of the hill where we practiced at, and she was still going in hot and heavy. Her husband was mad. And we kind of thought everything was squashed. We all talked it out. I'm thinking everything is fine. Hugged it out, everything. Because I had never had a problem with this coach before, ever. Fast forward a few days, all of a sudden, they fired this one coach. They fired him. But before that, we talk about Navarre. They had a game at Navarre. It was right around Jamarion's birthday. It was on September the 8th. We had a football game. The kids were playing bad, whatever. Halftime, they got cursed out by the coaches. They got cursed out by the team mom. After the game, they got cursed out a little bit more. And it was just like, what are we doing here? Talking to these kids like this. It's just ridiculous. So that coach got fired a few days after that because they said he grabbed his son by the face mask and dragged him. They were trying to get him off the field before they ran a play, and that he grabbed him, pulled him off the field, whatever. So he was upset and whatever with him being fired. All of a sudden, I get a text saying, hey, here's some text messages. they had a coaches group text, and the
Okay.
stuff that I read in there, I was done. I was livid. I
I,
was
I
just
did I,
like,
did- I did see some the ones that you posted. I saw
mhm.
those. Um, and I was kind of bothered. Well, I wasn't kind of bothered. I was bothered, especially the one where the coach, whatever coach it was, said that he was going to put his bullies on the ones he wanted those to quit,
That was the head coach.
and that's just despicable, downright
Hmm.
despicable. And it's the head coach still
Hmm.
there.
Yes,
He's still there.
yes. He coached on Saturday. Yes.
So as far as you received a letter, I'm assuming you received a letter saying that you could have get a refund and the child can no longer play. Is that correct?
Well, it was they had the board meeting. We went to the board meeting on September 20th. They let me talk, and somehow they had the coach there, his wife there, and four other coaches there to back him up. So I said what I had to say, and I told them what I wanted, which was for that the coaches needed to go because it was I was strictly talking about the text messages because I thought, that's wrong. You shouldn't be talking about kids like that. And so I got a call that was on the 20th. I got a call on the 22nd from the president saying that they voted and they wanted to give me back my refund. So I'm just like, so if you're giving me my refund, does that mean you're not doing anything to the coaches? And he's like, no, 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 we haven't voted on that yet. But I'm like, but that's kind of weird that you want to offer me a refund. Why would you offer me a refund? So right then and there, I knew they weren't going to do anything to the coaches. So Jamarin was played in the game that Saturday. We got home. That's when he told me that he was called a monkey by one of his teammates.
Mm.
And I notified the head coach, let him know. He said he didn't know anything about it. I'm like, well, I'm just letting you know that this is what was said. You can talk to him on Monday. He talked to him on Monday after practice and, asked Jamarin what was going on. And Jamarin told him, story didn't change from what I said. The first thing out of the coach's mouth was, are you lying? And I'm assuming that they thought that I had coached him over the weekend to say this, which I did not, and I would never do that. And I was just, when Jamarin came back and told me, I'm just like, who does that to a child? Because if you question them like that, then they'll feel like they can't come to you and say anything else because you're going to automatically think that they're lying. There was no feedback to me whatsoever. Next day, I contacted the president about it saying, hey, this is what happened. I never got any feedback. And he's like, oh, yeah, the VP went to the coach and asked him, what did he do? And he said he just went and asked the other kid, which happens to be another coach's son, asked him, and
Mhm.
he said, no, I didn't do it. And I'm like, so there was no, hey, Jamarian, that type of language is not appropriate. There was nothing with the huddle to talk to the team about it. There was nothing. So I'm pissed about that also. So Wednesday, I get a call from the VP of football telling me that they had decided that they weren't going to relieve the coaches and that they were going to put them on probation. And I said, basically, you're not doing anything to them. Next thing I know, he says, well, we decided to part ways with you and Jamarian. And I'm just like, I jumped up out of bed and I'm like, why? Why are you doing this to a child? He didn't do anything. And he said, well, back in August, we feel that you threatened the team mom. And I'm like, I didn't threaten her. I made a statement when I told her that she's lucky I'm not who I used to be. That's not a threat. That's a statement. And I'm like, again, if I threatened her back in August, why did me going to if I wouldn't have came to the board, nothing would have been said. But because I came to the board and voiced my concerns, now all of a sudden, now you're letting us go. And I told him
Mm.
I wanted in writing. I said, I wanted in writing why you guys are saying that you're letting me go. I get an email the next day, nothing about misconduct. It's just said, and I'm kind of paraphrasing because I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was to the point of we voted to refund the money back to Miss White because we could not meet her. We couldn't satisfy her experience or expectations for the football 2023 season. She can keep the jersey, but we would like to have, once we get our equipment back, then she can have a refund. They got their equipment on October 2nd. I still have not seen a refund. So I was just like, how do you tell me that you're letting us go because supposedly, allegedly, I threatened the team mom, which I didn't, but then your letter says something totally different. But still, that had nothing to do with Jamarian and why he was let go off the team.
Exactly.
And he told me, I'm not going back and forth with you. I hung up in his face. He called back saying, I guess we got disconnected. I'm like, no, I hung up. What do you want? And he just kept going. And I'm just like, I don't have nothing else to say to you. And at that point, I'm just livid. And I'm just like, you know what? Y'all can talk to my lawyer. And I'm like, I'm done with it.
Okay. And that was going to be my next question to you in regards to legal representation. Have you sought in legal representation in regards to this issue? And I'm glad that you have or will be doing that. And you kept mentioning the VP of the park. Had you heard from the actual president, park president, or are you just strictly hearing from the VP?
Well, during this whole process, I had been talking to the president. And then all of a sudden, I'm getting a call. The president didn't call me after they voted. It was the VP of football that called me, the one that came in to save her at the jamboree and the one that said that my child and another child were the two worst kids on the team. They had him call me.
Well, that just says something about their coaching and their way of coaching and what have you, because if they were good coaches, you're not going to have a worse person on your team. You're going to be able to develop those kids. So that just speaks volume as to their way of coaching and their lack of the coaching skills that they may have, even if they want to say somebody is the worst. However, again, I coached in this area for 20 some odd years, and I've lived in this area all my life. I ventured out and visited other places and whatnot, but I've been in the Pensacola area, Northwest Florida, all my life. I'm very familiar with Pace. I'm very, very familiar with Milton, Jamaica, Jay, McDavid, all those areas up there, and I know the mentality that comes out of those areas. Again, I'm not saying all people out there are bad, but we have a lot of bad people in that area. And there's and I don't like to parse words, and I don't want to put you in a situation where it sounds like you're saying something or you to be blamed for something that I say. I don't want that type of situation. But systemic racism is alive and well.
Yes.
Across the board. And when I first heard your story and it was coming out of Pace, I already knew who we were dealing with. Without seeing anybody face it, without seeing a name, or whatever case may be, I already knew what we were dealing with in the situation. Have I heard similar situations coming from that area in my history of being around youth sports? I've heard a lot. I've heard a lot. And unfortunately, the kids are the ones that have to bear the burden, if you will, because it affects them on the field, because you have ignorant people as parents, and we have ignorant people as coaches who think that white privilege is always supposed to prevail. Just based on the information that I read in regards to this story and what you're telling me today, it seems that they wanted to make sure that white privilege prevail. So I am glad that you are going further with this, because I preach a lot on racism. I'm not anti-white. I'm pro-black, but I speak up for anyone who's trying to make a stand. I don't care what color you are. Racism, I don't tolerate it, period. If you're a racist, I'm gonna say it to your face. Whether you're my boss or my boss's boss or my boss's boss's boss. If you're a racist and you have done something or said something racist, I'm gonna call you a racist. And if you ask the people I work for, they'll tell you that I'm not bush. My bad.
BSing.
Yeah, there you go. I told you, I was trying to be good, and I was I was slipped out. But in this particular situation, like I say, with the mentality that comes out of that part of Florida, Northwest Florida as a whole, because we have, this area is full of MAGA Republicans and whatnot, but we're not going to get in political things today. We're going to talk about this issue. Got a lot of MAGA Republicans in this area, and Pace is one of the stomping grounds for people like DeSantis and Matt Gaetz and Trump and things of that nature. If you mention one of them three names in Pace, men get an erection on over hearing them three names in Pace, and it's like it's sickening. So the apology that you were requesting, I'm assuming that has not even taken place.
No, because the head coach in the text messages that I read, his exact words were, "It would be a cold day in hell before he apologized to me."
Oh, so that was actually in the text.
That was in the text. That's in the text.
Okay.
I even received a threat from another coach in the text saying that I could take care of this, but it wouldn't go over well.
Okay. And I can't tell you what to do, but I think that threat needs to go to the authorities. Again, I'm not telling you what to do, but that particular threat needs to go to the authorities, and they need to be made aware that that particular threat was made in this situation because of the climate, the racial climate that we have these days. If that individual, if that coach may not do something, but one of the dumbasses that listen to that coach may do something. So,
well, I'm really concerned about that coach because he's had, I mean, I don't know why he's coaching when he's had a domestic violence, I forgot exactly what it's called, filed on him by his ex-wife. And, she tried to go to the board at the beginning about him being a coach. And they basically said, well, he passed the background check, and they allowed him to be a coach. And they gave her a warning, saying that, basically making it seem like she's a problem. And it's just, this man has walked up on me. He walked up on me 2 years ago aggressively. And he walked up on me this year. I just went to him and was like, hey, what's going on with you and Jamarian? I kind of see, y'all out on the field or something. And he just got loud. Hands started going everywhere. And I had to call another coach over, the head coach, and just said, hey, what's going on? Can you kind of tell him to calm down because he's kind of getting loud, and I don't do that getting loud. And I asked him, I said, well, can you just move Jamarian to another coach, to another position? The head coach told me no. And as soon as this man that doesn't like for especially women to approach him or ask him questions, as soon as I did that, he got to the point where he wasn't even starting Jamarian anymore.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So he's taking it out on the kid, and that's what really pisses me off. Miss Akira Peaks is on. She's listening. She asking how can she share this. Miss Akira, if you go to my Facebook page, it's on my Facebook page. It's shareable, so you can share it from my page. It's TTWG Graham. It's my page. Not sure how you're listening, but if you go to my Facebook page, you can share it from there. So I'm sorry, Miss Penny. I'm just looking at some of the comments that are coming through. And Miss Akira said that the more I listen to this, the more heated I find myself becoming. And Miss Akira, we should be heated over situations such as this, because it's 2023. Back when Martin Luther King and Andrew Young and all of them was marching, and Medgar Evers days and the Malcolm X's and all of them, they were put there. They were put in that position where we should not have to go through situations such as this today. And the fact that it's happening, and the fact that it's actually getting worse, we we have less rights in 2023 than we had in back in the 60s. Believe it or not, if you look at again, I'm not going to get into the political part of things, but if you look at the legislation that's going through today, especially in the state of Florida, we have less rights now than what we did back in the 60s, right? Back in the civil rights, pre-civil rights. So, but anyway, you have to excuse me sometimes because I get off in the political thing and I go on a tangent, and you got to reel me back in. So, but it all goes together though. So, it's all connected, and that's the sad part. It's all connected. So it appears that with these coaches, you said that one coach was fired, one coach was let go.
I felt like he was the sacrificial lamb that they got rid of because he wasn't part of their little clique that they have. And they got rid of him. And even when his wife shared my post that I made on Facebook, the head coach's wife went on there and tried to say that this man was a racist, that he made like 3 or 4 weeks ago when they played SYSA, that he made a comment using the N-word toward some players. And my thing was, but if he made if he said that 3 weeks ago, why y'all didn't do anything about it then? But now that his wife posts something in agreement with what she shared my post, now you want to go in there and make them feel like, make people think that they're racist. And I'm like, that's just not right. But that's just what the coach's wife does. I mean, she even stalked my son on Instagram and sent him a message about me to my son in Illinois, which was
that. Matter of fact, I think you put that on your post on your Facebook post. I read that, and that's just ignorance. That's just stupidity, if you will. Question: there was the team. You mentioned team manager. Is that the same thing as the team mom?
Team manager, team mom. Yes, that's what they call them now, team managers. But she's, team mom.
And that's the one. That's the one that I saw on video when she was on the field. I'm assuming that's the same person.
That's the same person. Okay. That walked out on the field and high-fived her son after he laid somebody out.
So and I've seen coaches where coaches put targets on kids to try to hurt them, and looking at the post that you put on there where the coach said, we're going to put my bullies on the ones I want to quit. I want to quit the team. In my opinion, if a coach does that, I think there should be illegal. That should be some type of crime to purposely try to hurt somebody's job. We know football is a brutal game. Trust me, I've been dealing with it for a long time. From when my youngest sons played, he started at 5, and that's when I started coaching. My oldest son is 36 years old now. So that just shows, and my youngest son he's 19, but he's in the second year of college. So that just shows how long I've been in the game. Mr. Mike Riley just joined us as well. Mr. Mike Riley, he's actually a coach over at SYSA. He just joined us as well. Good to see you on here tonight, Mike. Talking about the situation, if you just joining us, I have Miss Penny White on, and we are talking about the situation that she has experienced over at the Pace Sports Association over there, where her son was basically removed from the team after she made some complaints about mistreatment over there, and only one coach was relieved of his duties, and the other coaches that caused some of the confusions and some of the team manager or team mom, if you will, they are still there. And she has not yet received any type of apology. They offered a refund, but they have not given her a refund to date. Just let you know, Miss Penny has let me know that she is seeking legal or has sought legal representation in regards to this issue. And she's on here to tell the whole story because she did not get an opportunity even though she may have, when she went on Channel 3, you probably talked to him, and I'm guessing you probably talked to him a good 30, 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And out of that 30, 45 minutes, they put, 35 seconds of a soundbite on the news. So that's why I wanted to give her the opportunity to come on and talk about it and give the whole story from beginning to end, because that soundbite was not enough for people to understand the extent of the systemic racism that we deal with in today's society. So I wanted to make sure she had a platform to come on and tell the story, if you will. So at this point, where are you at this point in regards to what's your next step? Where are we going from this? Because my platform is your platform. We friends for life now. We are friends for. I never met you a day before today, but we are friends for life at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Long as I have this show, long as I have a platform, long as I have a voice, my platform is your platform.
I
So
appreciate it.
no problem at all. So where are we going from here? What's the next step, and what do you expect out of Pace sports or what is it? Pace Athletic.
Para,
Pace Athletic Recreation Association
yes.
is what it is. So
I mean, like I said, I had contacted one of my friends that had a lawyer contact me, and he kind of felt like there was, as far as monetary value for him winning, that's what he was like. Well, I really don't know if I should pursue this. And I was just like, it felt more like it was all about him getting some money out of it, because for me it's not about the money. It's about raising awareness to what's really going on.
Right, the principle of the whole thing.
It's the principle of it. And to be honest with you, that whole board needs to go. The board needs to go. The coaches need to go, especially that team mom. She needs, excuse my language, she needs to go straight to hell, but from which she came. And it just, they just need a reset. I mean, they went so far as to accuse somebody last year of stealing money, drug this woman through the mud. I don't know if y'all heard about that. Their treasurer, just to come back for the woman to be found not guilty. But her whole reputation is ruined by them. And it just, right. I mean, just walking in that room with all of them, of course, I was the only one of me sitting up in there. And I already knew, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to say what I got to say, but I know it's probably not going to go anywhere with them, because they were just looking at me like, how dare this little, probably the N-word they were calling me in their heads. How dare she come in here, but how can a board be unbiased when it's made up of husband and wives, coaches are on the board, and childhood friends that are friends of the coach and wife that I'm talking about, and other coaches. So they're not going to vote against them.
Well, we know that in the Pace area, you got the good old boy network that goes on up there, and Pace is such a small community to where all of them know all of them, and all of them hang out at the same places, and everybody's mentality. Let me not use the word everybody. The majority of the people that hang together in that community have the same outlook, if you will. And we know that that outlook includes racial bias. Like I say, that the whole white privilege thing, it took precedent in their eyes, to where how dare we have this young black woman come in here and try to cause problem in our circle, if you will,
or buck the system.
Exactly. And like I say, I applaud you for not sitting back. And one of the things I fuss about on this show, and I fuss about it often, is that we as black people, if you will, and I'm not anti-white, but I'm pro-black. We as black people seem to be complacent. We sit and be silent when things go on that goes against us. we're scared we don't want to speak out on it because we're worried about what the job is going to think. We're worried about what this person, what's going to happen to me if I say something, and we tend not to speak out when it's necessary. So I definitely applaud you for speaking out on this issue, not letting it just die, because your son, unfortunately, is not the first child to undergo this type of situation, and it just hasn't been exposed, if you will. With the inception of social media has been, for Black people, social media and cell phones have been this saving grace in a lot of situations, because
Yeah.
we now have a platform and we got eyes on people. You can't go anywhere without being on video. So um, I'm sorry, Mr. Mike Riley put a comment on here. Let me read Mike Riley, and that's just the same one I said. He coaches at SYSA. He said we walk on eggshells when we go to Pace. Not to get into details, when we played Pace, I was on the road. The things that our kids said was going on. I'm sorry, our kids said what was going on the field, and again, we played Pace. I played Pace, and you'll be amazed at what the kids say on the field, especially the kids at Pace would say to, because I've coached at all Black parks, and I've coached at mixed parks, and I coached at majority white park. So I've been across the board. And when you go to places like Pace, when you go to Jay, when you go to even Milton, and you play those teams up there, the things that is being said to the kids is unreal. However, when you dare to play a game, and I sometimes I wish they wouldn't even put some of these teams on the schedules, and I cringed when I seen Jay on our schedule. The one year we had to go to Jay, and I was skeptical of even going out there. Again, I'm from this area, so I know where we're not wanted, if you will.
Yes.
So it's unfortunate for the children. Even the kids that are the white kids that are on these teams that are victims of their own parents. And when I say victims of their own parents, because nobody's born hating anybody.
No.
Nobody's born to say, okay, I'm born today. If there's somebody who don't look like me, I don't like them. They're not born. They're taught that. That's a learned behavior. And unfortunately, the kids suffer from it, and they grow up in that mentality. They that's what they're taught. You can't associate with this person because they're that skin tone, and you can't associate with that person because their religion or whatever. They're taught all that, and at some point, the cycle has to be broken, because to this date, to date, that cycle continues, and is more relevant now. Then again, going back to the pre-civil rights era.
Yeah.
I'm old enough to been, I was born in the '60s. And some people say I don't look like I'm that old, but I got 1 foot. I got 1 foot in the grave and the other one on the banana peel. So I've been around long enough to see the development, and I thought at one point we were getting better as a society. I really did. I thought we were getting better as a society, because the racism, it had went in the closet. People wasn't out in the open with it. And then fast forward to 2016, then you got a bunch of assholes. You got a bunch of people that I'm sorry.
It's
You got
okay.
got a bunch of people who think that because they have been encouraged by people who sat in the Oval Office and politicians that don't care about black people, whatever, they done took it and ran with it, and they have made the situation even worse. So, um, Mr. Chris Murphy is on. Let me read his comment to you. He said, "I'm sorry that happened to you and your son. I hope to see him in the NFL one day. They can't stop anything. This will make him stronger with much more determination." Appreciate that, Mr. Murphy. Appreciate that sentiment. Chris, he's a listener at the show. Matter of fact, me and Chris we was classmates back in the day.
Okay.
So Chris, he's a good guy. But yeah, uh, I want to make sure that you encourage um, your son,
Mhm.
encourage him to continue to play. I hope that you can. You know, it's too late this season for him to play anywhere, um, but it can continue if you can. If it's feasible for you to do it, make sure that he stays. If he loved the game, make sure he played the game.
Mhm.
You know, and I seen where you were invited to go to NEP.
No, no, that's where one of the coaches told me that I can take my wasted talent kid to NEP. That's in the text.
Oh, he okay.
Yeah, that's what one of the coaches put in there. Yeah,
Okay,
that was
my
one of the
bad.
texts. Yeah, but we were this past Saturday. He was invited to come out to what the Navarre game. He went out there with those 8U, and they let him. He was out on the field with them. He got to run out on the field with them, and they just welcomed him like he was one of their teammates. And the coaches were phenomenal. They were just phenomenal to to just show him that type of love because he does. He really really loves football, and you know it just breaks my heart of what he's had to deal with at such a young age because the head coach. He really looked up to that head coach. He really really looked up to him. He was the only one that got Jamarian, and that Jamarian would really listen to because he just respected him. And it's
Mm,
unfortunate that it turned out this way. And please just let me. I really just want to say this, that I've I've met some really really good people here, and I have some really really good friends that if I say I need, they're there.
mm,
And but it's just those bad apples that are still here that just make it to where I don't even want to live here anymore. I mean, I was to the point of like, okay, I'm gonna move back to Texas. I mean, my son that's in Illinois is like, Mama, get up out of there. He doesn't even like that they when they say his name on TV, like this past Saturday, they said, Tyler Strain from Pace, Florida. And he's like, Mom, I don't even like this for them to say I'm from Pace because it's just the way that he was treated while he was here, getting told to go back and pick some cotton
wow.
when he started getting all his offers that they were jealous. And it's just I don't know, the ugliness of it all is just ridiculous. And I really didn't have anything against this coach until I read those texts. And when you really peel back and you see how somebody truly feels about you, see, because I'm not the type of person that I'm gonna laugh and joke in your face, but then I'm talking, crap about you in a text, which they say were inappropriately obtained. It doesn't matter how I got the text. You said what you said in the text. That's what the board and every people making comments are forgetting. The text are the text, and they said it.
Right.
The wife tried
But
to say, "Oh, it's locker room talk." It doesn't matter. They still said it, and it's not right.
I, and I don't mean to laugh at that. And that's what these MAGA Republicans. That's what they adopted when the orange idiot came out and just said that the discussing things that he said, and they tried to blame it on locker room talk, like everybody talk like that. Uh, but uh, I'm irritated,
Mhm.
and again, you got a friend for life. You have a
I
friend for
appreciate
life
it.
now. And this is not. I'm not starting here and ending here. This is going to continue on. And if whoever I got to put on blast, I'm put on blast. I am going to right now offer anyone representative from PACE, Youth Sports Association, or whatever you call them, PARA, to come and talk to me. I have an open invitation for you to come sit down and talk to me and explain your side. Uh, I would love to hear from you. Uh, and one of the things I can't do, Miss Penny, is I can't get a Republican on my show. I I, I think they're scared to talk to me,
Hmm.
but I can't get a Republican. I can't get a Republican or racist on my show, and I've been
Hmm.
trying, but they don't want to come and challenge me. So, but I have an open invitation for any representative of the board of that particular park or that particular city, if you will, to come on and talk to me and explain to me. Mike says not going to happen, but
No, no.
but to come on and explain to me your side of this and why these coaches are still being able to coach, knowing that what they have done and what they've been doing uh, it has a racist component to it, and the way Miss Penny has been treated, it's been unfair. I would love to hear your side of the story. But until then, I'm going to take the facts. And Ms. Penn, I'll be contacting you as well because I actually want to see these. I'm putting it out there. I'm putting you on the spot. I want to see these text messages because
Okay.
I'm going to put them out there. I'm put them on blast.
Hmm.
I will put them on blast. I promise you. Another comment was. Let me read this other comment that's in the comment section. Want it for your athletic skills to benefit their agenda. Not. And I'm sorry, I can't see. I can read. I promise you, I'm not illiterate. I just can't see what I read. But the words are so small, and my computer's kind of far away from me. But anyway, um, but Mike says, want it for your athletic skills to benefit their agenda, and that reminds me of the back in the day when University of Alabama went out to California and got their ass whooped by
Hmm.
some Negroes, and when Bear Bryant came back and said, "Okay, I got to get me some of them on my
Wow.
team." Yeah, that's how Alabama got uh, black people to start to go to the school, even after Governor Wallace stood in front of the school and said, "You niggas can't come to my school." And
Wow.
then when Bear Bryant went out to California and got his ass handed to him in a football game where the black kids ran up and down the field on him, that's when he said, "I got to get me some of those." And that's when they started uh, uh, offering black kids to come to the University of Alabama. That's
Hmm.
why I'm not an Alabama fan to this day. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But let me finish reading the comment. I'm sorry. He said, not care truly about the kids' overall well-being. Uh, this has been said for years. It's not surprising. Nothing has happened. Ma'am, I commend you. That came from Mr. Mike. Uh, he said, I saw that you heard it. So, uh, Chris, I'm sorry, I'm trying to read the comments. Chris is a Alabama fan, so you have to excuse him. He's a good guy, but he just don't know no better. But Miss Rivers, she said Pace recruited players from Bellevue to help them this year, definitely for their 14U. No way I send my child to them. That's a comment from Miss Rivers as well. So, but Miss Penny, we're at the top of the hour now, so
Hmm.
it's time for me to get up out of here and make way for the next show to come on WPMM. But once again, I want to thank you so very much for coming on the show today and telling the whole story. Uh, Shout out to WAR. I'll be reaching out to Miss Sue Strong as well because I know she is limited in what she can do in regards to
Hmm.
the stories and how they're put on the air. So, but she's a good woman. She's a good lady, very,
Hmm.
very, and I'll be reaching out to her as well. But Mr. Chris Murphy said, share the text we need to share on social media. So we'll talk about that, Mr. Chris. But Miss Penny, anything that you want to say in parting before we leave today?
I would say that everybody really needs to reach out, because I mean, if I guess Para falls up under the Northwest Florida Youth, what is it, the NW
Just
you
sports association.
yeah, they need to reach out to them, because I've even sent emails, and other parents have sent emails with those text messages to them, and those coaches are still out there. They shouldn't still be out there. Their badges need to be pulled, and they shouldn't be allowed to coach anymore.
Right.
But because obviously Para's not going to do anything to them, so now they need to do something to them. The commission does.
Right.
Oh,
And
something needs to happen.
if there's any attorneys out there that want to pursue this issue, Mr. Watson, not to call any names, Miss LaRubia, not to call any names, but when something need to be done, definitely
Yes.
need to be done. But Miss Penny, do not give up on your pursuit of justice in this
Never.
era of injustice that we have in our society. Keep pressing on. Again, my platform is your platform. I will be contacting you to get updates. I do
Okay.
want to see those messages because I'm going to personally put them out there.
Okay.
So, and if anybody got a problem with me doing it, I'm like Deion Sanders. I ain't hard to find. I am not hard to find. So, but yeah. But thank you so very much. It's been a great hour. It's been a great
Hmm.
hour. And I'm sorry this has happened to you. Um, but situations like this, we as a people, and I'm including white people as well, we have to come together and make sure that these things don't happen in today's society. And our white counterparts are the ones who hold the key to situations such as this. So if I can get
Yes.
some white people on board, then we're going to make some progress. If I just got a bunch of black people hollering and screaming, we're not going to go. We'll make some moves, but we're not going to make a lot of moves. But we have to get our white brothers and sisters on with us to stand up against the hatred that they may have been taught. And with that, we may be able to make this world a better place to live in. So,
Exactly.
but Ms. Spinner, once again, thank you so very much. This will be posted on my page. So if you, matter of fact, I need to send you a friend request. But it'll be posted on my page for you to
Okay.
share with whoever you want to share it with, whatever the case may
Okay.
be. Let's get the word out there, and let's not give up the fight. So
All
thank you
right.
so very much once again. You have a great evening. Okay.
You too. Thank you so
All right.
much.
All right. You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. That was Miss Penny. And again, she was featured on WAR over the weekend in regards to the situation out there at Pace. Uh, in regards to her son being removed from the football team. And you can go back and watch this show again. If you did not catch it all, I encourage you to go back and watch the entire show, uh, if you will. And Miss Penny has she done developed a lifelong friend in myself, and because I'm going to make sure that I stay on top of it and make sure that I know what's going on so that I can give the information out and put whoever I need to put on blast, if you will, because racism, we have to end it. We have to get rid of racism, and the only way to do it is to expose it and get the people that are perpetrating these type of activities and this type of behavior. We have to hold them accountable, and also we have to get those people who are uh, willing to come on the other side and help us. We have to recruit those people as well. So, but it's time for me to get up out of here. We're at the top of the hour. Matter of fact, I went a little bit over. My apologies. My apologies for going a little bit over. I will be back on Thursday night, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on WPMM Internet Radio for more information and more talking about the issues, again, that matter to you and your community. Thank you so very much for tuning in. And you guys be safe. Y'all be blessed. And I am out of here.